Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's a busy, busy day, as we know. And if you didn't already do it, do me a favor. Subscribe to that channel. Trying to get to 50,000 by the end of the month. We're almost there. We need you guys to help us out. A lot of stuff coming out on the channel. Obviously, the Obi-Wan stuff is out today. But with this episode, the spoiler-heavy review of Episode 3 of Ms. Marvel, we also have the review of Black Phone, Elvis coming out, Thor out of the theater reaction tomorrow night as well. So head on over. Now, this show, man, Ms. Marvel, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Not because I didn't think it would be a good show, just I didn't know if it was going to be necessarily geared towards me. It looks like, I'll tell you right now, I can't wait for my 10-year-old to watch this because I think she's going to absolutely love it. I think that it is right up her alley, and I think I can see her imagination running wild with it, watching it. That being said, the story is just really good. It's also a way, especially in this episode, what we have now found from Kamala is that she is trying to figure out what to do with her powers, and now that she's getting help from what we find to be the Jinn, who reveal that they need to get back and they need her help. What we also find out is it might not be too great if she does, and there might be a reason why people haven't helped them out in the past because it's too dangerous. Bruno finds that out, and it all goes down. But what I liked about the lead up to this is that, first of all, you get a real insight into the Pakistani culture, and I love the scene at the wedding because it seemed very, I mean, between that, the stuff at the mosque, the stuff at the wedding, it was all a lead up as you built through the story of this episode of how when you have that big action scene at the very end of it, it's all a lead up. And I thought the stuff with, first of all, Brown Jovi leading into the Bon Jovi song and the fight in the kitchen worked, because that sometimes is some of the things that drive me nuts in shows where it just seems like a gimmick and it doesn't really work. To me, this worked pretty well, and it was a matter of timing, and it was a matter of setup, and it was a matter of developing the character and developing the story enough to where you finally get to a place when you get to this big action scene at the end, it's earned it. So, and the stuff that's going on with Bruno and Kamala, and how he finally tells her about that he's going off to the school, but he's still always willing to help her. And then there's this back and forth between them and this love triangle thing going on. And inside of the whole entire episode, there's this struggle that she's going through. And I'm telling you, man, this girl is so good. She's a really great actress. Iman Vellani, who plays Kamala Khan, and she's just likable. She is funny. She's got good timing. She doesn't overcook her lines, and this cast in general, whether it's Matt Lintz, Yasmin Fletcher, Reece Shah, who plays Cameron, who in this episode we see that he's genuinely got feelings for Kamala, and he wants to make sure that she's protected. And yes, he wants to help out his family, but once they say, "Hey, we don't care whether this girl helps, whether she survives or not, we got to get back." And he's like, "No, that's not. We're betraying her." And he doesn't. And I like how. Well, the question is, what's going to happen to him at the end? Because that's a pretty nasty fall that he takes. So we'll figure out. I mean, chances are he makes it. She didn't seem too broken up about it when he fell, though. That's one thing. But where we get that thing with, it looks like a Harry Potter train comes in at the very end and saves the day, but the idea that her grandmother is like, you got to come, and I saw the train too, so get your butt over here and let's figure it out together. Her mom is really good. Her mom is a very believable mom. She's played, as I said before, I've watched her in The Affair, and she was a different version of this character. She was more like this character, the mother in this is more loving, more understanding, can have a good time. The other one just seemed to be a real jerk, if we can say, for The Affair. But this mom is very she's overprotective, but she's kind. She wants to make sure that her daughter's okay. And I also thought that there was a good the character of Nakia, I believe, or Nakla. I can't remember. It's Yasmin Fletcher's character, and I think the idea, the support that Kamala gives her when she finally gets a seat on the board, and then the idea that they're trying to figure out who the superhero is, and when it's finally revealed at the end, she's kind of taken aback by it, but she still winds up helping out Bruno. It's a 3 episodes into this show, and it's layered out really well. It's set up the characters very well. It's set up who they are, what the dilemma is, the idea of family, the idea of friendship, and the idea of betrayal. all of that, and how it's ultimately going to link into Ms. Marvel and Carol Danvers. We're going to find that. Also, they keep peppering that in there every episode with a mention of her. So one would assume she's going to show up probably towards the end. I think whether or not, I think it might have been announced, maybe not announced. I don't know. Either way, this show is doing it for me, though, man. I really enjoy it. I like it a lot. I'm excited about it. I like the Scott Pilgrim stuff they have. They toned down on that a little bit in this episode, but it still was there. It wasn't. I think the first 2 episodes really established that tone, but this one is more establishing the characters themselves, the story itself, and it's good. I'm excited to see where the story goes. And as I mentioned before, I want to get to a place where my daughter's finally going to start watching the Marvel movies. She's old enough now to start watching the Marvel movies. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should start her on the first MCU movie with Iron Man or just start her with this one. Will she be lost? I don't think she'll be lost. I think it's a good enough standalone story where you don't necessarily need to know it. Maybe you can go back and revisit it. But either way, what are you guys thinking of the show? Do you like it? Are you digging it? Comment. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe, please. Almost at 50,000, and we need your help. So go ahead and do that. Check out the Obi-Wan stuff. Check out everything else we got going on. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.